Hey everyone, welcome once again. Today's class, we are going to be focusing on connection. So, um, and during this class, just kind of understanding that we're not alone here. We're not, sometimes we feel like we are, but we're definitely not. We're a web of connections, our attitudes, our actions, energies, people, just people that we touch in many ways are just unseen and seen, just lots of different ways of connections. No single action stands alone. Each action, idea, feeling is born out of countless influences and in turn has its own unique effect. We see this most clearly and dramatically in our innermost circle. So we might have a group of friends that we're completely connected to, that we share everything with, or maybe it's just um, maybe there's people online that you connect with the most or feel a better connection with than anyone else. So we see this most clearly and dramatically in that innermost circle, and we extends outward to the people of Earth, of the entire universe. Our consciousness dances together, challenging, uplifting, teaching, learning, questioning, reassuring, inspiring, and loving. So, all different ways to find that connection with people, with animals, with nature, whatever. So, today we're going to do a little bit of a slow flow, very grounding practice today. We're going to connect with our breath and body with some movement. So, again, just kind of take your time, listen to your body. If you need to slow it down even more or take child's pose even more often, go right ahead. So we're going to start today actually on our back. And if you always want, like always, I have a couple props here that I'm going to use. Most likely a couple blocks and a blanket. I had a strap here from the other class, but I'm probably not going to use that today. I'm just going to grab my blanket, use it as a pillow today as I lay back. And again, this could always be used as any other way you wanted to as well. But I'm going to start here. And we're going to have our knees bent. And just allow them to knock in together. And just let the feet kind of come out towards the edge of the mat. So starting with our natural breath, and maybe your eyes are closed, maybe they're open, like with a soft gaze, or maybe you're just looking up at the ceiling. Maybe you just kind of want to keep the eyes open today, wherever you want to be. Maybe just placing the hands on the belly and just feeling the breath coming in and out of the nose, filling up the body. So as we're here, let's go ahead and start to kind of count our inhales and our exhales. And the idea is trying to make that exhale a little bit longer. Maybe start with a count of 4. So take a nice breath in through the nose, gently and slowly, holding at the top and then exhaling for 4. Again, inhaling for 4. And exhaling for 4. All right, we'll stick with let's go ahead and do 5 for inhale and then 7 for our exhale. So again, taking that nice gentle breath. Again, nice inhale for 5. And exhale for 7. So one more time. Again, inhale for 5. And exhale 7. Good. Now, maybe this is where you feel comfortable. Maybe you can go a little further. So if you can, maybe extend that breath out to an 8 or 9. And maybe your inhale is a 6. If not, just going to stay with the 5 and the 7. We'll take a few more moments here. All right, so wherever you are, let's go ahead and move back to that 4 and 4. So again, inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4. We'll take one more round of that. Good. And just return to your natural breath. Just again, feeling the body getting filled up with air, feeling every compartment. And let's go ahead and take a couple more breaths. And as we're doing that, just start to walk the soles of the feet together. So maybe heel toeing the feet in, and we're going to take the knees out into a butterfly. You can keep your hands here if you need them to be, or if you prefer to release them to your sides. Go ahead and do that. And we're just going to breathe. And again, feeling maybe you have a hand on the heart, hand on the belly. And just finding a gentle hip opening. Let's just take a couple more breaths. All right, so using the hands, let's go ahead and bring the knees together. And bring the legs about hips distance apart. So our knees are going to be bent again. And, just going ahead and taking the right leg, just extend it into the air, maybe heels pointing up for a moment. And we're going to cross the ankle over the left thigh. And you can stay here for a moment. We're going to just come into this reclined figure four and flexing that right foot and starting to kind of push away with your right hand onto the thigh. Just taking a couple breaths. Good. All right, and then we're going to take the same leg, and maybe just kind of grabbing onto the shin to start. And you can keep your left knee bent, or if you prefer keeping it, extending it straight. We're going to come into a happy baby. So maybe you're just kind of grabbing onto the side of the foot, or maybe the ankle, or if you're keeping it maybe close to the body, maybe your shin is where you're holding on to, just opening up here gently again. And however you feel, that feels good. And you can kind of start to create a little movement here if you want to, maybe rotating open and closed. All right, awesome. Taking the leg back into center, back into the body. Now this time, if you haven't extended the left leg, go ahead and extend that long on your mat. We're going to take the knee and bring it over to the left side. So coming into a supine twist. And since this is early on in the practice, it might feel a little different and maybe not get as far as you normally would while you're twisting. But just be mindful here to keep your shoulders down on the mat. Gaze can come over to the right if it likes to. Awesome. One more breath. And then bring it back to center. Let's go ahead and just place both of the feet on the mat once again. Just kind of resituating if you kind of got moved around a little bit from that twist. So let's go ahead and take the left leg up. So up into the air, stretching it, or pushing the heel up. And then we're going to bring the ankle and cross it over that right thigh, creating that little figure four shape, keeping the foot flexed as we push away here. And again, we're going to go ahead and start to bring that leg back in towards the chest. And maybe finding that happy baby on this side. Again, however it feels good. And start to create again that movement here. And just taking a few breaths. All right, and then bringing the knee back into center, into the chest. We're going to take it over to the right side, extending the left arm out to that half T. Maybe the gaze is following those fingers today. And you might also notice too that this side might feel even different than the other side did, which we all have that little bit of differences, those little bit of imbalances in our body. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back to center. We're we'll bring both of those knees back into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. Now, depending on what you prefer, you can either roll up to your hands and knees, or if you want to just go to the side, press yourself up, that's an option as well. Move the blanket out of the way for the moment. Okay. So coming towards the top of your mat, you're facing the top of your mat. Let's go ahead and bring those fingers, spread them nice and wide, shoulders right above the wrists, and our hip points right above the knees. Good. Nice flat back, pulling the belly in towards the spine. Let's go ahead and take a breath. As we do, pulling the shoulders back, dropping the belly down, coming into that cow spine. As we exhale, we'll start to press up and away, coming into cow. Good. Inhale again, dropping the belly down, lifting the heart. Nice stretch on the abdomen, and then exhale, rounding through the body. Coming into our cat. Tuck that chin. Okay, we'll do one more here. We'll come back to these in a few moments, but just kind of start to move slowly. Awesome. And then come back to neutral. So nice flat back. And I'm going to take my right toes and extend them back. And just kind of starting here for a moment. When you feel comfortable, you can lift them off the mat. So toes are pointing down. Good. Then we'll take the left arm and reach that forward. So we're creating this long line with the body. Excellent. Let's go ahead with our exhale. We're going to bring the elbow and the knee together. So cat in the back again. Inhale, extend everything back out. Good. Again, bring it in. Inhale, extend. One more time. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, extend it all out. We'll just kind of pause here a moment. See how keeping the belly lifted as we're gazing down towards our fingers. Let's go ahead and place the hands down on the mat. And then what we're going to do with this leg is start to bring it forward and into a low lunge. Now, if you need to, you can always bring the blanket under the knees. Okay. And I'm actually going to have my blocks handy for this. I'm going to come up to my thigh for a second. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Bring the arms up first. We're going to take a nice deep breath. Exhale, release them. Bring them behind the low back. Intertwine the fingers. Let's go ahead. Take a few breaths, actually lifting up the heart as we pull down. Good. Release the hands down to the mat. We're going to walk the right foot all the way to the very edge of our mat here. And here I'm going to use my blocks. We're just going to come into a lizard stretch for a few breaths. So if you need the blocks here, you can go ahead and use them to maybe place the hands on or rest the forearms on. I'm going to use them just on my hands. And if you even want to, I'm going to turn my toe out and maybe walk that left leg back a little bit as I sink in. That feels great. Take a few more breaths here. All right, so let's go ahead. If you're on your forearms, come up to your hands. We're going to walk the foot back in. I'm going to move my blocks out of the way and just bring my leg back to that nice neutral spine, fingers spread wide. Let's do those few more cat cows like I promised. Dropping the belly down, lifting the heart. Exhale, push away. Inhale again, coming to that cow spine. And exhale. One more time. Deep breath. Again, filling up. And exhale, pushing away, tucking the chin. All right, let's go ahead and come back to neutral. Excellent. Left leg goes back. Again, maybe the toes are starting on the ground. When you feel ready, lifting the leg up. Toes pointing down. And sometimes I have to look back at myself. I'm actually looking in the video too to see if my toes are actually off to the side or pointed in a weird way. But if you need to, maybe look down, look back. All right, ready? Right arm comes forward. And exhale, bring the knee and the elbow together. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, extend it out. One more time. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, extend. Good. We'll drop the hand down. The foot is going to make its way forward, coming into that low lunge position. And again, if you need to, or if it's more comfortable even with your foot, your toe tucked, you can always keep it this way, but I prefer it here. And again, I'm going to use my blocks in a few moments, so I have them kind of nearby. Let's go ahead and come up to the thigh for a second. Inhale, bring those fingers up. And exhale again, hands behind the low back. So we'll intertwine the one finger over as we lift the chest for a few breaths. Excellent. Release the hands down to the mat or your blocks. We're going to walk the foot over to the left side. And maybe it's peeking its toe over the edge. And again, let's come down to your lizard pose for a few breaths. Excellent. Come back up to your hands if you're on your forearms. Move the blocks if you were using them. Awesome. Okay. And then what we're going to do again is step the foot back after you've kind of walked it back to center. And we'll come to a child's pose. So this can be a wide knee if you need it to be, or maybe it's your knees are a little closer together. Bring the big toes to touch. Just kind of sink back towards the heels. We'll spend a few moments resting here. And just know that you can always return to this point if you need to. Feeling length in the spine. All right, awesome. Go ahead and walk yourself back. And we're going to work our way to downward facing dog. So however you need to get there, just going to take your time. Maybe just kind of push back towards your toes for a moment, just stretching the feet before we completely push ourselves up. Spreading those fingers again, kind of rounding the back. And just peeling yourself up off the mat, pushing those hips up and back. Taking a little walk. So maybe bending one knee, bending the other, using your breath again to connect with this movement. I know a lot of the times when I'm teaching a live class, I see a lot of just moving like this. But yeah, really take your time in working these muscles. Really feel every stretch as you're pushing that heel down towards the earth, making that connection with your feet, lifting up onto the tippy toes, maybe exhaling, bringing those heels a little bit closer. Let's take one more breath. Exhale it out your mouth. All right, let's go ahead and inhale. Lifting up onto those tippy toes again, bend the knees. And then just take a walk up to the top of the mat. So however many steps you need to take. And your feet can be kind of wide here. Here's why I say that. So if you have your blocks, you can use them here. Or if you want to grab elbow to elbow, you can. So nice, generous bend in the knees as we hang forward and maybe sway in a ragdoll for a few moments. Letting the space get created in the back of the neck. Nice. All right, maybe you walk your feet together just a little bit, about hips distance or so, or a little closer. Let's inhale, slowly rise all the way up to stand. Bring the body up, bring the arms above the head, connect the palms together and bring them down to the heart. Awesome. All right, let's start to move a little bit more here. Again, still keeping our feet firmly planted on the mat. We'll inhale, bring the arms up. We're going to grab onto the left wrist. Let's take a side bend to the right side. Inhaling back to center. Taking the right wrist over to the left. Good, inhale back to center. Exhale, fold it down. Bend those knees if you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. So nice flat back if you can. Feeling a long line all the way again from the crown of the head to the tail. Exhale and fold. Let's go ahead and plant the hands. Step back to plank. Pausing here for a second and then exhale, lower down either chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, heart lifts to cobra or up dog. And then exhale, tucking the toes, lifting the hips. Downward facing dog. We'll take 2 more rounds of those. So first, just taking a few breaths in between. And then 1 more breath. All right, our next inhale, lifting up the heels, bending the knees, taking a hop or a step all the way up to the top. Let's inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold it down. Inhale, root to rise. Bring your body all the way up to stand. Good. Reach those arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. We won't stay here too long. All right, inhale. Arms come up, grabbing onto that left wrist. Bending over to the right side. Good. Inhale, back to center. Taking the right wrist over to the left. Good. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, folding in half, reaching down for those toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and plant the hands. Back to plank. Lower down, however you wish. Good. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, lift up the hips. Tuck the toes, down dog. Excellent. Inhaling the heels, bending those knees, taking that step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach to rise. We'll do 1 more round of these. Reach those arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. All right, inhale, sweep the arms, grabbing onto the left wrist, bending over to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, take the right wrist over to the left. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and plant the hands back to plank. Vinyasa here, working your way back to downward facing dog. Good. Let's go ahead and bring the toes together. Inhaling up the right leg. And then exhale as we step it forward to the top of the mat. We'll find some space. Let's go ahead and come up to a crescent lunge. Good, reaching those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Now I'm gonna bring my hands to my heart here. So we're gonna do a couple step ups and step backs. You'll see what I mean in a moment. All right, taking your time, we're gonna bring the left leg up to the top of your mat, and you can kind of pause here at the moment if you need to, and then come up to tree. So whatever your variation of tree is, go ahead and find that. Hands can remain at the heart, or maybe they reach up, branches open wide. Take a few breaths. Excellent. Bring the hands back to the heart. We'll step back to that crescent lunge and then reach those arms up for a breath. Exhale, bring the hands down as they frame the foot. Left hand plants, right arm lifts. It's a little dragonfly twist here. Good. Go ahead and step back to plank. And again, vinyasa if you wish. Or you can always meet us in downward facing dog. All right, and let's take the left leg up high, exhaling it up to the top, creating that space between the toes, bringing yourself up to crescent lunge. Excellent, bringing your hands to the heart. Again, so we're gonna step up, coming to our variation of tree, whatever it is. Making that connection with the breath, with our feet, and letting them just become one. Excellent. Step the foot back. Grab your footing. Inhale the arms up for a breath. Exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. Plant the right hand, lift up that left arm. Go ahead, hand comes down. Again, stepping back to the plank, vinyasa. Good, reaching the heart up. And then exhaling, downward facing dog. Let's just take a few breaths here. Now I am going to have my blocks near the top of the mat for this next sequence. So just make sure yours are there as well. Let's go ahead and bring those toes together, inhaling up the right leg. Exhale, stepping it forward. We're going to come to warrior two. So just take a moment, set your feet up, then bring the body upright. Extending those arms out wide. Just as if someone is just doing a little tug of war here. Now, to kind of move into the next set of postures, I'm going to go ahead and bind my left arm behind my back. So I'm still reaching forward with that warrior front right arm, straightening out my front leg. I'm going to lengthen forward and then float down to a bound triangle pose. So this is where I want to maybe use a block, allowing the heart to press open, the shoulder to roll back. And gaze can be wherever feels more comfortable. All right, I'm going to release my bind for a moment, bend into that front leg, reverse my warrior, come all the way back, stretching out that side body. Now from here, again, I'm going to straighten out the front leg. I'm going to come into a twisted triangle pose. So what's actually going to happen is I'm going to have to bring my left hand down and then bring the right arm up. Good. And as I bring my other hand back down, that right hand, I am going to grab for the other block that I had. Maybe step the back foot in a smidge, maybe a couple inches. I still want to have enough of a stance between my legs that it's about a leg's length for myself. Well, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold it in, coming into a pyramid stretch, taking a few breaths. Excellent. Now, as I step to the top this time, I want to make a little room again for my feet. I'm going to come right into a goddess squat. So I'm just going to take the blocks back towards the top, stepping the feet wide as my mat, toes hanging out. We're just going to sit down. Now, if this is not accessible, you can always bring a block to sit on, or maybe you're up here. That's fine too. Keeping the back nice and flat. Let's go ahead and bring the hands down to the mat, step it back to your plank, and exhale to downward facing dog. Awesome. Let's go ahead and take the toes together, inhaling up the left leg. Exhale, step it up to the top, and we're going to come to that warrior two on this side. So take a moment, open up the body, create that space. Again, finding that connection with your breath. All right, we're going to bind the right arm behind the back, straighten out the front leg. We're going to lengthen forward. Again, block if you need it. I prefer it. So again, as we reach forward, we're going to come down into that bound triangle pose. And again, gaze comes to wherever it's comfortable. I'm just checking my watch to see where we're at with time. All right, go ahead, release the arm up. We're gonna bend into the front leg, reverse. Okay, again, straightening out the front leg. And as we cartwheel the arms down, this time my right hand is gonna come to a block or the mat, lifting up that left arm for a twist. Good. And then bringing the hands both down. Again, if you need to, step the back foot in just a teeny slight bit. Inhale halfway. Again, this is perfect for blocks if you have them to bring the ground a little closer. And then exhale. Maybe you're bringing the chin or the forehead in towards that knee. But it doesn't matter if you do or not. Maybe this is not the time or the place for that particular connection. All right, let's go ahead again. Bend the front leg. So we're almost in a runner's lunge so that you can walk your left toe out. Then we'll step up that right foot. And your way up to the top, coming to that goddess squat for a few breaths. Excellent. Hands come down, step back to plank, and exhale to down dog. Let's take a few extra breaths and really kind of start to pedal the feet out once again. Awesome. Bringing the toes again together. Inhaling up the right leg. Exhale. We're going to bring the knee in towards the right wrist. So setting up for our half pigeon on this side. Of course, I have my blocks handy, so I like to use those to kind of position my body so I'm not like laying over on one side or another. When you're ready, folding down and taking a few moments here. Awesome. Go ahead and bring yourself up to your hands and remove any props that you may have. I'm going to take my way over to my right hip. So I'm just going to rolling over. And I'm going to I have to position myself a little bit here. I want to kind of bring my left leg out to the side and have the right sole of the foot coming in. So coming into a half butterfly. Let's go ahead and take a moment. We're going to just rotate the body over towards that left extended leg and then walk it forward, folding forward. Okay, go ahead and bring yourself upright. We're going to come into a seated twist. So taking the knee up, and we're just going to go ahead and, let's see, we're actually going to come around and, how should we do this today? Actually, let's go ahead and just come to an easy seat. That'll be easy enough. And then the opposite side, we'll just kind of cross them the other way. Let's go ahead and inhale, bring those arms up, and we're going to twist over to the right to start. Sometimes you get a little confused on where pieces and parts of your body go when you're coming into these positions. That's okay. Just gonna, again, this just works just as well as anything else would. So we're getting the idea. All right, excellent. Let's do a little counter twist before we move on. So just take it over to the left. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and release. Now, again, this is depending on your body. I'm going to roll over my legs, coming into a plank, and then coming up to a downward facing dog. We'll take the same right leg, bend the knee, open the hip here. Just take a couple breaths. Maybe almost try to kick your butt. Awesome. And when you're ready, bring it back down. And then we'll do the other side. So just taking the left leg up, taking the knee in towards the left wrist, and maybe again walking those right toes back, using props if you need them, and then folding down in. Okay, go ahead and come up to your hands. Again, removing props. We're going to roll onto the left hip and swing that right leg around so we can have the left sole be into the right leg. Okay, keeping the leg active. We're going to turn towards that right leg and then just walk ourselves down, folding over the knee. All right, let's go ahead and walk it up. And then now crossing the legs the opposite way that we had them before. So however you had them before, do it the complete opposite way. So this time my right leg is on top. Inhale, arms up, and then we're going to start with twisting to the left side. So over to the left. Bringing the knee to the thigh or the knee. And then bring the left hand behind you. Maybe your gaze comes over the shoulder or just looks off to the side. Awesome. Come back through center and we'll do that little counter twist over to the opposite side. Excellent. Coming back to center. Again, we're going to do that little trick again, or maybe I'll just meet you in downward facing dog just for a moment. So just kind of rolling over. Doesn't feel as comfortable on the other side. Come to plank and then exhale to down dog, lifting up that left leg, bend the knee, open up the hip. Awesome. Let's go ahead and bring yourself down to your hands and your knees. We're going to go ahead and flip over onto the back. Okay. Oops. So as you flip onto the back, we're going to get started kind of in that similar position that we were at the beginning of practice. So maybe your knees are starting bent here if it's more comfortable. I'm going to grab that blanket ahead of time. Yeah, there you go. All right. So I want to start by extending the right leg. Again, keep the foot active. Bring the left knee into the chest like an active foot. Let's go ahead and do a spinal twist over to the right side. So it might feel very different now that we've warmed up our body. Maybe you've had a little more space. Again, keeping the shoulders down, arms at a half T. Awesome. Go ahead and bring your legs back to center. We'll squeeze them both in for a moment. Just going to give them a nice big hug. Now taking the left leg long, again, active foot. Right leg, twisting it over to the left. And your right arm's extended out. Awesome. Go ahead and bring yourself back to center. We'll kind of place, again, bring the knees into the chest. We'll give them a little hug here. And then now starting to bring the soles of the feet together. And we'll bring the legs to the mat, allowing the knees to fall open. Maybe you're bringing the hands to the body, or if you want to, maybe now it feels like a better time to let them open up. Roll the shoulder blades just a little bit underneath the body. Slowing the breath down. All right, using your hands, let's go ahead and bring the knees together. And again, we're going to squeeze them into the chest. Now, same kind of motion that we just started with a moment ago. Let's go ahead and bring the toes to touch and kind of hold on to the shins for a moment. And just going to start to squeeze the legs in towards the body. Now here, if you want to, you can stay here, or again, maybe we're going to do the happy baby. So maybe you're grabbing onto your feet or your ankles and just kind of find a little bit of, and go ahead and squeeze those legs in one more time. Take the arms up over the head. Stretch the feet out. Just kind of give yourself a nice full body stretch. I'm really rolled up today. And let your legs just kind of fall open. Let your arms relax down to your sides. This is where we can close the eyes and find that sacred peace of rest. Shavasana. So begin to deepen your breath. And just start to create gentle movements into the body. So wiggling toes and fingers, rocking the head ever so slightly from side to side. Let's go ahead and stretch those arms up overhead again, finding that nice full body stretch. Walking the feet in towards the body, rolling over to your favorite side, and just using the arm as a pillow for a moment. Again, feeling your connection right now to the earth, to your mat, wherever you happen to be practicing. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat, bringing your eyes to close or just to a soft gaze. Again, finding those sits bones rooted down to the earth. Having your hands on your knees, palms up or palms down, depending if you need some energy, or not. But just kind of finding that connection with the earth. Let's go ahead and inhale, bring those fingertips all the way up, reaching high. Maybe the gaze comes up. Bring the palms together, and then bring the fingers, the thumb knuckles down to the heart center. Dropping the chin to the chest. Again, finding that space in the neck. So thank you so much for sharing your energy, your connection, your practice with me today. Have a beautiful rest of your day, rest of your week. Let's go ahead, bring the thumb knuckles up to the third eye, center of the forehead. The divine light in me honors the divine light in each of you. And together we bow. Namaste. So take care. Bye.